They go on the trail of a convicted murderer.
He gets startled, he runs out. We have to cut him off at the back here.
And grab a bail jumper as he bids to escape.
Stay there.
Get out! Get out! You got him.
Manhunt Catch Me If You Can continues new next Thursday at 9. It's a Friday night feast tomorrow as we count down Britain's favourite takeaway dishes. Tuck into that, it's brand new at 8. And you've got just enough time to pop the kettle on and make yourself a brew. Trust me, you'll need one. Secrets of the McVitie's factory is brand new.
They're the stations where every hour is rush hour.
Standing still is not a good option.
I just want to get home. I just want their train.
The trains are crammed full.
Train station never sleeps.
World's busiest train station starts Monday at 9 on Channel 5.
Cupid's back, leading the questions.
What's the most embarrassing place you've been caught with your pants down?
What part of you would you say is better than the girls next to you?
Well, I can peel a banana with my feet.
What's your most talented body part?
But will their answers make them lucky in love?
I've got a big job on my hands. I've got a great show for you tonight.
The new series of Blind Date starts Sunday at 8 on Channel 5.
Hello, good evening. The headlines from 5 News. I'm Danny Sinha. Further talks are due to take place between the government and Labour tomorrow to try to break the Brexit impasse. Negotiating teams from both sides have been meeting for the past couple of days to try to forge a way through. It comes ahead of next week's Emergency European Council summit. Investigators say the pilots were not to blame for last month's Ethiopian Airlines crash. The plane nosedived after takeoff, killing all 157 people on board. Boeing says they continue to support the investigation and safety is their top priority. And having a poor diet is claiming more lives than smoking, according to a new study. Scientists say our high intake of salt, processed foods and sugary drinks are all having an impact on our health. That's all from us. We'll see you soon.
At its peak, £1 in every £7 was spent here. Now we reveal the secrets behind the rise.
When the doors opened, people rushed in.
And fall.
The German discounters were starting to hurt Tesco.
Of this supermarket giant. Inside Tesco, Britain's biggest supermarket, Wednesday at 9 on Channel 5.
Never had deja vu, it just doesn't happen. Hello and welcome back to Little Spring Spotters.
Hello. With Easter fast approaching, let's go straight to Lamb Cam.
Lamb Cam. Wow, wow. Again, not a lot of movement now. Typical for a lamb made of chocolate. Oh, there we are. Well, Larry the lamb was too hard to resist.
Luckily, there's more where that came from, with sustainably sourced deluxe eggs and other chocolate animals available at Lidl this Easter.
Next on Spring Spotters, flowers.
Ah, looks like a Gala Spins player. Fun and games twirling together. Just like the exciting new Rainbow Riches Slingo game. Try it now. Get £10 when you deposit and spend 20. Galaspins.com. Now that's incredible.
The Ryanair seat sale is here. Get up to 20% off your next holiday. Ryanair. More choice, low fares, great care.
The perfect day to plan our next family holiday. So let's take an apartment this year. And on Trivago, I can even compare prices from different websites.
I'm not the one that can write my story. I'ma do it like this, do it like that, do it like this, then I'll do it like that. I'm gonna make it good. Hey, hey. I'm gonna do it. Everything we're made of powers everything you're made of. Special K, powering you.
She's 82 and he's 39. The age gap love is real in an hour here on Channel 5. But for the love of dunking now, we're taking you inside the oldest biscuit factory in the world. It's brand new. Secrets of the McVitie's factory.
We Brits are a nation of biscuit lovers. We eat more biscuits than any other country in the world. The average UK household buys 96 packets of biscuits every year, and most of them are made here in Britain. So what does it take to make such vast quantities? To find out, we're going behind the doors of one of Britain's biggest factories, McVitie's in Carlisle, which is also the oldest biscuit factory in the world. We'll meet the dough mixers.
If you're not switched on, things can go wrong. It's very easy to go wrong.
The bakers.
The factory doesn't tend to get very cold.
The packers.
It's one of the hardest lines in the factory, apparently. And I like that.
And the robots, who keep the biscuit lines running day and night.
It's amazing what we can do nowadays.
And we'll learn the stories and secrets of their biscuits.
For ordinary people, they could have a fancy biscuit in the form of a custard cream.
As we spend 24 hours in the massive factory that's been making more biscuits for longer than anywhere else in the world. Carlisle, in the northwest of England, is home to the oldest biscuit factory in the world. Here the biscuit lines work 24 hours a day. It's 6 a.m. and people are arriving for their first shift. 3 shifts of 8 hours each make this a factory that never sleeps and churns out more biscuits than you could ever imagine.
We have over 800 people working here every day. Every 24 hours, we are making something in between 35 to 40 million biscuits every day. And we are making 5 days in every week. We're looking at bourbon creams.
So we make on here 70 biscuits per second, which is around 30 million biscuits a week.
We're looking at custard creams.
Well, we've got 22 rows, 422 rows per minute. That's 4,560,320 shells a shift. 2,280,160 biscuits a day. It's about 34 million biscuits a week.
We also make 1 million ginger nuts in 4 hours. So in 40 hours, we'll make enough ginger nuts to lay a path from Carlisle all the way down the M6 and down the M1 all the way to London. And we're very proud of the McVitie's biscuits that we make. But we also make Carr's. This site is famous for its Carr's table water. So we make sweet biscuits and we also make savoury biscuits.
The factory is a non-stop mass-producing biscuit machine. And to keep it going, it needs a constant supply of ingredients. These arrive by the truckload every hour. 10 tankers of flour arrive every day, with around 200 tons of flour.
I'm delivering flour, just over 20 tons. I've got 2 loads in here today, but it varies, we've got different runs.
The flour gets pumped into the factory's 6 silos. Each of these silos is 60 feet tall and holds 50 tons. The factory gets through 4 silos worth every 24 hours, so they need to be refilled constantly. There are also massive storage containers holding fats that are the factory equivalent of the butter you'd add to flour at home. These are pumped automatically, along with the sugar, up to the first floor of the factory. This is where the biscuit making process begins, the mixing area. The basic ingredients of flour, sugar and fat are pumped in through pipes. And smaller ingredients, like flavourings, are added by operators to make the dough. It's just like you would do in your kitchen, but instead of bowls, here they use machines the size of bulldozers. It's the first stage of making biscuits in industrial quantities, and everything depends on what happens here.
We call ourselves the engine room. The engine room of the factory. If the engine room breaks down, the full line doesn't run. If this runs out, the plant runs out, the oven goes off and the packing line comes to a standstill. So it's vitally important that we get it right first time, every time.
And that means adding the right amount of smaller ingredients, even when using a shovel.
Right, well, I'm on custard cream mixer, dough mixer, and putting the dust in, which is roughly 8 kilos per mix. And then over on this side, you've got your whey powder and your sugar, which is 5. And then depending on how soft your dough is, depends on how much water, which obviously we get told from downstairs. So we've got a litre of water today going in. And then you just set it off, and then that'll mix for 100 seconds, and then just go down there. Keeps you busy. I mean, this is the busiest mixer out of all of them. Per shift, about 125 mixings.
Do you bake at home at all?
Sorry?
Do you bake at home?
No, never.
These 125 mixes of custard creams are just part of the story. Altogether, they make more than 10 times that amount of dough in a day. Coming up, baking biscuits by the million.
It's a long baking process. You're looking at a 250-foot long oven.
The world has gone crazy about food, but let's not forget the best thing of all, taste. To us at Hellmann's, taste is everything. And we believe great taste starts with great ingredients, like free-range eggs and sustainably sourced oils. Because at Hellmann's, we're on the side of food.
Nivea Q10 Plus C-Sleep Cream is the anti-aging cream product of the year. It supercharges your skin, visibly smoothing the appearance of fine lines.
So we are here to split the bill, all because you bought car insurance to compare the market. Now you can both have a dessert. 4 of your finest calzone, shaken, not stirred. Get 2 for 1 on starters, men's and desserts with the Meerkat app when you buy through Compare the Market.
Meet Paddy Power's secret agent, Horsebot. He's gone undercover at Grand National Training to see how horses jump those big fences.
This jump is as high as the chair. Now you hold up that picture.
Okay. What's this?
Tad higher.
She's a looker, if you're into that. Whoa! Irresistible. Just like this. Place an each-way bet on the Grand National with Paddy Power, and we'll pay you if your horse finishes in the first 6. Paddy Power, enough of the nonsense.
Never had deja vu. It just doesn't happen. Hello and welcome back to Little Spring Spotters.
Hello. With Easter fast approaching, let's go straight to Lamb Cam.
Lamb Cam. Wow, wow. Again, not a lot of movement now. Typical for a lamb made of chocolate. Oh, there we are. Well, Larry the lamb was too hard to resist.
Luckily, there's more where that came from, with sustainably sourced deluxe eggs and other chocolate animals available at Lidl this Easter.
Next on Spring Spotters, flowers.
Not bad, is it? See the remarkable true story. It's moving and powerful. Brilliant. 5 stars. The Keeper. In cinemas April 5th.
Alexa, dim the lights.
Okay.
Alexa, drop in on Charlie.
I'm here to get one of those incredible money-saving offers you do for new car insurance customers.
Hang on. I know you. You're a new existing customer.
Existing customer.
Why can't we all just be treated the same?
The best prices shouldn't only be for new customers. With Aviva Plus, at your next car or home renewal, you'll get the same price or better than if you were a new Aviva Plus customer.
At Expedia, you can book your flight, hotel, car hire and activities all in one place. Expedia. Atoll protected.
Sorry. It's big, but it's not Euro Millions big.
Excuse me.
This Friday, it's a massive £62 million jackpot.
New surgeons, new operations, performed live over 3 nights. The BAFTA-nominated Operation Live returns with a TV-first father-to-son kidney transplant, live, Tuesday at 10 on Channel 5.
Carlisle in the northwest of England is home to the oldest biscuit factory in the world. Established in 1831, the man that built the factory was Jonathan Dodson Carr.
J.D. Carr's is a really fascinating character because he was a Quaker, he had a very entrepreneurial spirit, but he also combined that with his religious beliefs in that he had a sense of kind of civic duty. And he created a factory. His philosophy was that he wanted food to be affordable for people, many of whom are poor, many of whom need to be fed. And the biscuit provides this everyday treat for ordinary people.
Carlisle, unfortunately, like a lot of places in the 1800s, was a place of slums and a place of poverty. And putting a biscuit factory here was one of his answers to provide employment. It's a huge part of the Industrial Revolution of our country.
The 19th century is the age of incredible technical innovation. And Carr harnessed the technical innovation of the printing press, steam-powered printing press, which was churning out masses and masses of published material. And he harnessed that technology to mass produce biscuits on a huge, enormous industrial scale.
Carr's Quaker beliefs led him to establish a profitable factory that also provided good working conditions for his employees. The factory has provided work for generation after generation of local people. Today, it produces enough biscuits in 2 days to feed the whole of Britain.
People in the UK are a nation of biscuit lovers. We are the highest biscuit consumers in the world.
Which means lots of work for the mixing room.
So this is ginger nuts. So they're putting the salt, soda, ammonia in. So we make 1,500 batches of dough a day throughout 8 mixers. So there's a lot of plants in here. There's 8 baking lines, and that's what we do. The guys have done what they need to do. The mixer now runs through its program of what it needs to put in, and it'll just sequence itself through that.
The mixing machines are computer controlled, but operators need to keep a beady eye on them all the time.
When the mixer starts, we'll keep an eye on the screen so all the chemicals and all the ingredients go in, like the liquid sugar, the cocoa, the glucose, and the granulated sugar goes in, and the mixes for about 100 seconds, and then it goes into the second stage with the flour going in. There's 348 kilos of flour going in, and then it mixes again, and then the bowl's empty, so I wait for the chute to come up, and then I open the door, and then I load another mix in.
The dough for sweet biscuits, like bourbons and ginger nuts, is ready to be baked straight away. But the savoury table water biscuits need another stage, proving.
The mixing cycle's now finished on turbo water, so I'm now about to discharge it from the mixer into the tub. The mixing cycle is about 20-25 minutes. Then we put it to store over there for about 8 to 10 hours, where it's got to sit for the gluten to form and the dough ready to be used. There's a little bit of proving time for them.
What would happen if it didn't sit and wait as long as it does?
They wouldn't be able to machine it downstairs and the biscuits wouldn't come out perfect.
When the dough has proved, the bins are tilted into a hopper to drop into the moulding area.
From here to the processed department will be anywhere between 28-40 minutes. And we just make sure that everything empties, and then we take this one off, take it over there to get service for the next time, and then we'll put the next one on. If you're not switched on, things can go wrong. The mixer will break down, we'll get short deliveries. It's very easy to go wrong. You just got to concentrate all the time and help with your teammates as well.
After the dough is mixed in the machines, it travels down to the main shop floor. It's here that the biscuits get moulded and baked, by the million, by the hour. After proving for 10 hours upstairs, the dough for the table water biscuits is rolled in a unique process.
As the dough's coming out, you can see the thickness of the sheet here, really thick. That's a really hard dough.
Table water dough is much heavier than a sweet biscuit mix, so the dough has to be worked much harder.
If you try to get it down all in one, you wouldn't have enough pressure to bring it down. So it's a gradual reduction. It needs to come down here. Again, it's come down here. You see we're coming down to 7mm, 4mm, and then this is the sheet coming out. So a nice smooth sheet. All the time that you're squashing it, you're actually stretching it. So if you're at home, you'd be kneading your dough and you'd be stretching it out, which is a similar sort of process to what we're doing until you get the sheet that you want. And then when we get to here, as the dough drops in, it's taken back and forward and dropped.
One of the biscuits that Carr's is most well known for is the table water biscuit, which is a descendant of the hardtack sailor's biscuit. These biscuits fed navies for centuries, but they were not tasty. But Carr's version, which was invented by his grandson Theodore in 1890, had the distinction of being made with water and being lighter in crumb. And they're made in a way almost like pastry in that they're sort of folded over to capture the air, which gives them that very distinct texture.
So once that's happened, you're starting all over again. So you've got a thick sheet here. You can see there's little pockets of air, so that's all going to start getting squashed out again. Just gradual reduction. And then you come to your final gauge roller. You can see that's really shiny. That gives you a nice top sheet to it. Puts it on there. Comes onto the cutting web. And now we've got the actual cutting head, which is giving you your finished biscuit. And then here, we end up with a traditional table water. You see all the docking pins in it.
The table water biscuits are cut out from a sheet of dough that's been rolled to the required thickness. It's different from sweet biscuits, which are moulded. Their dough is dropped straight down from the mixers onto conveyor belts. In this machine-heavy environment, the belts help break the soft dough into smaller chunks. Then it's dropped into a hopper, where huge rollers mould each biscuit into shape in microseconds. Each biscuit line is run by its own operator.
I'm trying to keep like a consistent level in this hopper. Sometimes if it speeds up too much or if you're not getting enough dough, I can stop and start it. If the dough's too soft or too tough, but also weigh it, just to make sure it's the correct weight, not underweight or overweight. I check the measurements of the biscuits, I put them into the oven, make sure the colours of the biscuits are correct, because sometimes the dough can be just slightly different, depending on the time of year. You get like a shine on top of the dough. The more shiny it is, the more moist it is, and if it's too dry, you haven't got that much of a shine and stuff.
Nothing's wasted here. This vibrating corkscrew recycles any excess dough and takes it straight back into production. With so many biscuit lines and machines, it's vital to keep them all running.
This is a massive operation. It's a very complex operation. We have to bring together a huge amount of things, from all the ingredients that have to arrive on time to all the packaging that has to arrive on time. So it's very, very fast-paced. It's very dynamic. There's always lots going on. It really requires the people to pull together. Biscuit lines work 24 hours a day. They are big units. They make a lot of biscuits. So if you start a biscuit line up, you really don't want to stop it.
You weren't trying hard enough.
But sometimes the lines have to stop. And more often than not, it's the engineering and maintenance teams that are at the sharp end of getting them going again. Today, they're replacing a worn-out custard cream roller.
Engineering department work across 4 12-hour shifts, and we predominantly do maintenance, but we do a lot of inspection work and preventative maintenance. There's 10 engineers per day shift and 6 engineers on the night shift. We do have a lot of pressure on us. There's a lot of machinery in the factory and we've got to maintain all of it. From the state-of-the-art robots to all the more manual plants. Certainly since I've been here, the role has changed and evolved as more modern equipment's come in, and I think that's just the way it's going to be from now on. It's just going to keep changing as we go on.
Okay.
It varies from day to day. There's a lot of electrical work, from electrical installations, fault finding. There's also higher level robotics.
That down in the...
With one part of the line down, every other part of the line is affected. Mixing, moulding, baking and packing. Stoppages can potentially mean a huge cost, so they have to be kept to a minimum.
That's all the way to the knife there. That's all the way to the knife. Looks all right, doesn't it?
Ultimately, we want to get the plants running and get biscuits out the door. That's what we're here to do.
So this is the ginger nuts now, just about to go into the oven, transferred off the web onto the oven band. This particular oven band's a solid oven band, so it keeps the heat on the base of the biscuit, which gives you a nice flat bottom on the biscuit and that traditional browning on the edge of the biscuit. So then this goes off into the oven.
But this isn't just any old oven like you'd have at home. This is a 250-foot-long biscuit baking monster.
So when we get to this point, we can view the biscuits to see what's happening during the baking process. At the minute, they're starting to rise, they're starting to cook. This is the beginning of the process for the baking. It's a long, slow process on here, nearly 5.5 minutes, and you're looking at a 250-foot-long oven. So we're trying to keep a nice slow bake so that it gives it time for the sugar and the water to melt in the biscuit and gives us a soft biscuit when it comes out of the end of the oven.
With 21 million biscuits going through this oven every 24 hours, the biscuits need to be kept continually moving whilst making sure that the temperature is perfect. The secret to the ginger nut is in its baking. The dough expands while inside the oven and swells as gases build up naturally and try to escape. Because there are no holes in the shell, the biscuit explodes and collapses back down, giving it its distinct cracked edge.
This is the ginger nuts baked with a traditional crack. So that's the crack from there's no docking holes in the top, so the biscuit actually cracks through, and it's just a piece of dough at the minute. It's still cooking. When they get upstairs, they're a completely different product to what we've got down here.
As the ginger nut cools down, it hardens and crystallizes, which makes the biscuit really hard. This gives the ginger nut its distinctive snap that's helped to keep it popular for over 160 years.
We've been making ginger nuts here at Carlisle since the 1850s, and we've got documentation and recipes going back to that day. Back in that day, it was a very, very hard biscuit, very different from the biscuits of the day, and so it was hard as a nut. So it was ginger, clearly because of the ginger, but it was also as hard as a nut, and that's why it was a ginger nut. We often get asked if it has nuts in it, and it doesn't have nuts in it, but it is called a ginger nut.
We actually have been eating ginger biscuits, gingerbread in this country since the medieval period, but these were a totally luxury item. When Carr starts producing the ginger snap biscuit in the 1850s, for the first time, ordinary people can have the luxury of eating a mass-manufactured, relatively inexpensive biscuit. The thing about a ginger biscuit which makes it really special is the relationship between the texture and the flavour. They both pack a punch. So you've got the spicy, aromatic taste of the ginger, which sort of, I mean, you really feel it tingling in your mouth. And then you've also got that snap and that crunch, which gives you this lovely mouthfeel, but which also makes it a fantastic biscuit for dunking, which of course is a great British tradition.
Coming up, chocolate delights and disaster.
What on earth are we going to do about it? How are we going to put this factory back together?
Well prepared this year. And who are all these for?
Well, the little bunny is for Tilly next door, Moser Roth for Jan, our lovely babysitter, Cadbury 12 for Aunt Rose, and there's my mum and dad, Alice from work.
How very generous of you. Must have cost a bit.
Actually, they're all from Aldi.
Aldi?
With eggs from just 79p, you'll be amazed at what you can find this Easter at Aldi.
Is the one for me?
Here you go, Gran.
Oh, lovely, darling.
Listen now, the roll over must be won.
Get in, Gareth!
You literally cannot miss it.
This Easter, Cadbury are adding a sprinkle of magic by bringing you Cadbury's Easter egg hunt. Bunny will be hiding Easter eggs all over the country. So join in the fun and get ready for Cadbury's Easter egg hunt.
Little things, atoms and molecules, textures and elements. The comfort of soft, cloud-like fibers, the sensation of fine woven velvet, the striking beauty of scalloped curves. Coming home can feel special again, because little things make life better. Sofology. Feel at home on a sofa you love.
I've slain your dreaded dragon.
For saving the kingdom, what doth thou desire?
My lord! Hey! Good night! Where are you going?
Climbing up on Salisbury.
Exceptional coffee is always worth the quest.
Nespresso. What else?
The Ryanair seat sale is here. Get up to 20% off your next holiday. Ryanair. More choice, low fares, great care.
Pink Casino is an exclusive online casino designed for ladies who like to have fun. There's always time for a few spins at Pink Casino, whether you're getting glammed up like a golden goddess, searching for rainbow riches with Ruby, or killing time with Cleopatra. So what are you waiting for? Come on, girls, join Pink Casino tonight and get £10 completely free.
Your beat will make you wanna dance all night. Your love is fine.
If your gums bleed when you brush, you may have gum disease, and the clock could be ticking to much worse. Bad breath, then receding gums, and eventually tooth loss. Help stop the clog on gum disease with Corsidil toothpaste. It's 4 times more effective at removing the main cause of bleeding gums. Help leave bleeding gums behind. Corsidil.
I am chilly like no other. I'm the warmth that grows within you. I am Chili by Schwartz. Feel my heat.
Now with a new jar. Transform and enhance your meal. Schwartz. Spice up your senses.
At its peak, 1 in every £7 was spent here. Now we reveal the secrets behind the rise.
When the doors opened, people rushed in.
And fall.
The German discounters were starting to hurt Tesco.
Of this supermarket giant. Inside Tesco, Britain's biggest supermarket, Wednesday at 9 on Channel 5.
We're spending 24 hours in Britain's massive and oldest biscuit factory, McVitie's in Carlisle, where every day 800 people churn out around 40 million biscuits. Each biscuit in this factory will have a particular type of bake. And the table water biscuits are baked quickly in a brick oven.
Traditionally, in an oven, you would have had trays. Obviously, to the amount of biscuits we do, we need to keep them moving through a long oven in a short baking time to get the heat and get them cooked. So this is the actual oven. You see the bricks that it's made of. That's a traditional type of oven dating back to the 19th century, so they've been around a long time. It radiates heat. The bricks retain heat. It takes up to 2 weeks to get the heat out of the oven if you knocked it off. So most ovens you can have cooled down within an hour. This one, you're looking at 2 weeks to get all the heat out of inside. We've got the finished product coming out. It's baked, ready to go. At this point, they're around 120 degrees temperature. They're quite a hot biscuit. So you can see what the docking pins have done. They've allowed the steam to escape and stop the biscuit rising too much, but you still get that air trying to get out from the laminations. So we get a flat product, and where the air hasn't escaped inside, we get the nice dimpled effect on the top with the colour. It's a very thin product, as you can see, and it doesn't take a lot of baking out, but we get the nice snap, a proper snap in it, and inside you can see the layers. Inside you've got a structure to the dough. From here they're going to go off and cool down. It takes 2 minutes to get from this end to the packing end.
For these biscuits, the process is nearly over. They just need to be packed. But for others, there's another magic ingredient. Now we're coming to the most indulgent process of all, the creaming. And that means not just custard creams, but everyone's favourite ingredient, chocolate. While some of us like the crunch of a ginger nut or the crisp snap of a water biscuit, others enjoy an altogether softer experience. And one soft biscuit, the bourbon, has been made here since the early 1970s, when McVitie's took over the factory.
It's McVitie's who invents the bourbon biscuit, which is a chocolate-flavoured biscuit with a chocolate cream in the middle. And what you're trying to get in that is a soft bite biscuit, not a crisp, crunchy biscuit like a ginger snap. The bourbon biscuit has that very distinctive shape of the oblong with the 10 holes evenly spaced along it.
The holes in the bourbon are there so that air can escape out of the biscuit during baking.
For much of the 19th century, chocolate is consumed as a drink. It's not eaten as a sort of chocolate bar or chocolate paste. That's not possible until a Dutchman called Van Houten works out how to separate out chocolate cocoa solids from chocolate paste. When he manages to do that in 1828, suddenly when you get new manufacturing processes which are able to mass produce chocolate, where it remains solid, it can be moulded, but then it melts in your mouth, you're in a different world of chocolate.
Just like in the making of the biscuits, the cream has its own dedicated mixing station.
I've just created the cream using all the ingredients that goes into a mix. Very important, you need to get it absolutely cock on. If you miss ingredients out, you'll have a faulty mix, and it creates a lot of problems. If there's a faulty mix, you'd have to tip it out, make a fresh mix. You can be under pressure, you can be put under pressure, because everything, obviously you want a good shell out at the end of the day. So we need to make money. So we need to make sure we're making biscuits all the time. I'll be taking this round to the pumps and filling the pumps. You've got to keep them at a certain level because you lose pressure as well.
We've seen the mixing, moulding and baking, but we haven't seen the most indulgent process of all, the creaming. Once in the creaming room, the velvety mix is shoveled into a pump cylinder. It has to keep being mixed to maintain its smooth texture.
This is where the cream's been mixed, then it goes through the pump into what we call our creaming machine. So you've got your bottom biscuit comes down through this machine, and the bottom biscuit comes along. If you look inside here, you'll actually be able to see you've got a shell with cream, gets cream, then your top biscuit comes down on top, and from there get your final bourbon product, then goes through a series of cream cooling tunnels, then gets wrapped and packed and sent off to our customers. So we make on here 70 biscuits per second, which is around 30 million biscuits a week.
And every one of those 30 million should look the same. There's no room for individualism amongst the pack. Every biscuit baked, creamed and packed in this factory has to go through strict quality controls.
We take 20 biscuits and we check them like this to see how much they've risen as they've come down the oven. We can vary how much we make the biscuits rise by how we use the oven. So we take 20 biscuits and we see what the weight is. We have a specification that we like to try to get the biscuits into. We also measure the length of 4 and the width of 4, again, to see how much the biscuits have spread out and how much they've widened. Then we move on, we use this machine to check the colour of the biscuit. Because you've got burners above and below the conveyor belt in the oven, you can have a different colour on the top of the biscuit as you do in the bottom of the biscuit. That's very important in some of the biscuits that we make. Then we move on and we take the biscuits and we crush them. This checks the moisture. You can't have the biscuits being too moist or they'll go off in the packet. You can't have them too dry or they become brittle. We do these checks every hour, so we're always checking the biscuits to make sure that the biscuits that we send around to the cream inside are perfect every time.
The much-loved custard cream was first produced here in 1908, and its creaming process is exactly the same as the bourbon.
This is a 4-lane machine. It's the only one that we have in here. Bourbon don't have it. You look at the other machines, they're only 2 lanes. This is 4. So you get the bottom, you get the cream on, and then you get the top on. We make, on average, 25 tonne a shift, per shift. But it's, well, it was Britain's favourite biscuit at once, you know, so yes, it's very popular.
The custard cream, 2 pieces of biscuit with a custard cream, is a really old-fashioned, traditional biscuit. It was first produced in 1908. And I think what's really distinctive about the custard cream is its design. That beautiful, intricate fern pattern on the top is really reminiscent of Victorian design and style. You would see those types of patterns and reliefs in plateware, in wallpaper, in fabric design, and yet here you have it on a biscuit, and you have it on a biscuit that's affordable for anyone. So for ordinary people who probably couldn't afford fancy wallpaper, fancy plateware, fancy fabrics, they could have a fancy biscuit in the form of a custard cream.
With 2.5 million custard creams made every day, the people on the production line have to keep up with the machines.
Try not to stop, we try not to stop, if we can. If I worked with you, I'd see you more than I would my family. So you get to know people and everything. And I enjoy just making the biscuits, and a lot of people will tell you I am very passionate. I scream, just because I want everything right, you know.
So yesterday, Tuesday, we had no new misses, no accidents, no holds, and no metal fines. We've produced 9,732 kilos. Fantastic day, well done everybody, it's really good. Yeah.
The pride everyone has in the factory is shown in the longevity of their service here.
I've been here since 1996, long time.
I've been here for 29 years now.
34 years.
Been here since I was 16. So I've been here for 34 years.
Started off making jam rings.
Well, I've been here for 39 years, but I've been in this department for 30 years.
I came on to day shift, we had butter puffs.
There are some lovely smells as you walk around the factory.
We used to make Garibaldi.
Most of my family have worked here, some of my family still work here, so my father, my grandfather, my mother, my grandmother.
People come to work here at McVitie's Carlisle and they don't want to leave. It's a steady job, you know, every day is different.
I didn't expect ever to work in a factory, really, but it grows on you.
And the workers' spirit of togetherness was needed most when the factory was hit twice by devastating floods in 2005 and 2015.
The first flood, it was quite emotional to walk in and see it, because you're just thinking, this is our livelihoods, this is our factory.
It was a disaster. If I was standing here now, the water then was probably up to my neck. What on earth are we going to do about it? How are we going to put this factory back together?
After flooding like this, it takes many months to get a factory back up and running.
Every piece of equipment has to be taken apart, dismantled, cleaned, sanitised.
When the factory was put together, there was a lot of emotion. People were crying on the lines when the first custard creams went down the lines. It was quite an emotional experience for some people who've worked here 30, 40 years.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime flood, and then in 2015 we had the second once-in-a-lifetime flood.
During the second flood, 10 tons of chocolate and 500 tons of sodden biscuits had to be dumped.
The world was crying out for ginger nuts in all the papers. There was a national shortage.
Looking at it now, you get a great sense of achievement walking in the place when you know that you've rebuilt it twice.
Coming up, old traditions.
It was certainly a women's factory. Certainly.
Yeah. I think it still is.
And new robots.
The naming of the robots, we've got Armstrong, we've got Jar Jar Bisques, we've got Mac. Now, Mac's a naughty robot.
We'll meet nearly 80,000 people in our lives.
If you can't remember my name, please sit down. If you've never seen me cry, take a seat if somehow we've lost touch.
Do you have a moment now? Only a few become special to us. Stay close. Nescafe Gold. For the moments that matter.
Do you want to share a pudding?
Oh, go on.
Love you.
Filter out background noise and turn up the things you love. Get interest-free monthly payments on hearing aids at Boots. Let's feel good.
So we are here to split the bill, all because you bought car insurance to compare the market. Now you can both have a dessert. 4 of your finest calzone, shaken, not stirred. Get 2 for 1 on starters, mains, and desserts with the Meerkat app when you buy through Compare the Market.
Activia is a delicious way to support your gut health and also packed with billions of live yogurt cultures. Your gut looks after you, so look after it.
Impressive spread. Thank you. Chocolate and salted caramel. Patisserie? Artisan bakery. Nope. What, you made them? Yeah. Of course I didn't. They're from Aldi. Aldi?
And try our Village Bakery buns, now 59p. Or our luxury fruited buns, joint winner of GHI's Best Hot Cross Buns.
Claire? Oh. Hot, hot, hot.
The Ryanair seat sale is here. Get up to 20% off your next holiday. Ryanair, more choice, low fares, great care.
Every day should give you something unexpected. A chance to savor the anticipation. Well, that's why I get dressed in the dark. And why every day I head to Sky Vegas and spin the prize machine.
Take your spin on the prize machine. It's your seriously free chance to win loads of prizes every day. Only at Sky Vegas, the UK's most popular online casino.
Little things, atoms and molecules, textures and elements. The ultimate comfort of edge-to-edge springs. The luxury of rich, deep-pile velvet. The elegant beauty of finely detailed fringing. Coming home can feel special again because little things make life better. Sofology. Feel at home on a sofa you love.
Your feet will make you want to dance all night. The love is fine.
They're the stations where every hour is rush hour.
Standing still is not a good option.
I just want to get home. I just want their train.
The trains are crammed full.
Penn Station never sleeps. World's busiest train station starts Monday at 9 on Channel 5.
During their journey through the mixing, moulding, baking, and the creaming phases of production, the treats pass through a multitude of machines. But there's one place where the human touch is still required. There are some 800 staff employed every day throughout the factory, and the packing line is where most of them work. There are 5 packets of biscuits packed every second on the line. To keep up with the machines, it takes concentration and nimble fingers to work here.
I'm feeding custards, custard creams, into slots, so that they stand upright and go in without making rejects. The feeding lines are the hardest jobs to do. Yeah. I like custards. Like, it's one of the hardest lines in the factory, apparently. And I like that. I like the people. It's brilliant. It's very good on this line. They're very friendly, they're helpful. And you're normally with your own gang. We're all going out on Christmas parties every year. Our own lines go out together. And yeah, it's good. And you make new friends. Lots of nationalities and that, it's good. Yeah.
It's quite nice and I like it working here because it's really easy and then like, you feel it on your hand, you know, when you pick them up. Some people, they don't need, like, to see them just feed, and some people talk each other like that. But you get trained this for a long time because this one really hard line.
I'm the girl that makes the thing that drills the hole, that holds the ring, that drives the rod, that turns the knob.
Women have a long history of working the packing line, and locally, they're known as the Cracker Packers. There's even a statue in their honour outside.
The shank that moves the crank, that
The two world wars have a really significant impact on biscuit production in the country. Because so many men went away to fight, that meant that factories, which had always had men and women working in them, suddenly became dominated by women. So suddenly they were working in factories, they were getting wages, they had fixed hours, which is very appealing. They had days off. You know, very few people wanted to go back to domestic service once they had worked in a factory. So it changed the nature of the sort of work that women were doing. Women continued to work in biscuit factories, you know, long after the Second World War.
Generations of cracker packers have passed through the factory, with strong friendships made, all whilst packing the humble biscuit. And many of the retired women who worked at the factory years ago still regularly meet and reminisce about their days working in the packing line.
Well, I started off as a packer, and we all used to have some fun.
What shift did you start on, Jane?
Started on 6 to 10 shift.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that was basically about the married woman shift, wasn't it?
Married woman shift, yeah.
And the men used to go back home.
Yeah. For the husbands, we were working, and we couldn't come out to work during the day because in them days there was no nurseries to put the children in like there is now.
No creches or anything.
Yeah, there was no creches or anything like that.
And then they did start a 10 to 2 shift, didn't they, for when the children were at school?
School, yeah.
Yeah. So you could get the children into school and then go back and get them when they finished.
Those lassies used to relieve us at our tea break.
Yes, but when we all started on 6 to 10, it was really like just temporary work, wasn't it?
It was,
for 3 months for Christmas.
Well, first of all, actually, mine was only for 2 weeks. And I ended up altogether for 22 years when they pensioned me off because of my health.
So that 2 weeks lasted rather a long time.
22 years. Yeah.
I came for a week and my week lasted 38 years. So.
Yeah, so...
I came for 3 months and mine lasted 23 years.
Well, I came for my first holiday and I was here 23 years.
And I absolutely loved it. I loved that job.
Because we all knew one another. We all helped one another. And if there was somebody, it was birthdays or somebody had a party, everybody was invited, more or less.
It's like another family.
We all used to.
You had your family at home and your work family, you know. You listen to everybody else's troubles and then they listen to yours.
And there wasn't the rules and regulations that
there is now. No, there wasn't.
Yeah.
No. And you could laugh and have a joke on the line.
As long as you got your numbers up, you were...
Yeah. Got everything done.
It was certainly a women's factory. Certainly.
Yeah.
I think it still is to a certain extent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once again, with the biscuits wrapped, the machines take over from the humans. State-of-the-art technology boxes the products before bulk casing them, completing the production process.
Welcome to dispatch. This is the area where all the product ends up going out of the factory, and it's our job to make sure that every case counts and goes out the door. So basically in this area, we have 9 robots on site, and each robot is stacking 3 different products at each time. So it's stacking 3 different pallets. And it has a pallet plan. It's reading the material as it comes through from the factory. They read a barcode on the boxes, and from that barcode, the robot will decide which pallet it goes to. They're very good, to be fair. The robots are very good. You know, I mean, they've all got different names. We've got Armstrong, we've got Jar Jar Bisques, we've got Laika, which I think it was the first little dog in space. And if you look in the middle here as well, we've got 2 which are like supplying robots as such. That's your pallet car. So your pallet car will now accept that load that's been palletized, and it's going to take it along there, and it'll take it to the shrink wrapper, where it gets wrapped up and sent out the door.
is our automated wrapper. It wraps the pallet and ensures everything's sealed correctly. Once the plastic's been wrapped around it, the heat lamp seals the wrap onto the pallet to ensure there's no movement. They're brilliant to watch, you know. It's like being an 8-year-old boy, and I sent the boy the videos before because he just likes to see them in action. So I've got my work phone, and I'll send him a video of the robots. He absolutely loves it.
As a rough estimation, we'll deliver more than 50,000 cases a day out this door. It's almost like a little factory on its own. It's a factory which is basically making sure that everything's packed and goes out the door.
When J.D. Carr first opened this factory nearly 200 years ago, he embraced the technical innovations of the Industrial Revolution. Now, with state-of-the-art robots and other modern-day technology installed, Carr's dream of delivering low-cost food to the masses looks set to carry on for many years to come.
Well, from biscuits to biryanis, we're counting down Britain's favourite takeaway tomorrow night, delivered to your door brand new at 8. But next, they say you're only as old as the man you feel. She's 82 and he's 39. It's new Age Gap Love.
We reveal the biggest bust-ups.
5 girls that don't like each other. Hello?
The secret scandals.
The way I heard was from 5 Live.
My heart